Hey, what's up guys, Sir Emanon here, and welcome back to another episode of Road to 1000 DuelingBook rating. This time I am playing Sky Striker and my opponent's playing Orcust. So just a couple of announcements before we get started today. First off, I apologize that this video is late. If you have been following my schedule, I'm supposed to be releasing these Mondays and Fridays, and the reason why I am late is that I was going to record last night, but I just fell asleep. That's literally what happened. Like, I fell asleep at like 9 p.m, so your boy's up at literally 5 a.m. recording this video. So yeah, that's what's happening right now. I'm up literally up 5 a.m. on a Saturday to record a video for you guys. Alright, second announcement is I want to again thank you guys for 500 subs recently. I did post an announcement video for my new Discord server. If you guys haven't seen that video and have stumbled upon this one, the link to the Discord will be in the description of every video from now on. Just check the description box. And the third thing I was going to say is be sure to follow my Twitter if you want announcements on certain videos that are being made. You can also just follow or add me on Discord, or not add me on Discord, but like follow my Discord server. Join my Discord server. That's what I was trying to say this whole time. Yeah. And the last thing is I will actually be posting the combo video for Lunalights later, either today, maybe tomorrow. So yeah, look forward to that. But yeah, alright, that's all the announcements out of the way. I was trying to just remember them offhand because I didn't write them down or anything. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop right into this video. Alright, so I win the die roll, or I keep calling it die roll, but it's not a die roll, it's rock, paper, scissors. Anyways, so I'm playing Sky Striker and I let my opponent go first. I'm playing the version with Mystic Mind in it, so I just want to test out if I can like break a lot of boards. So like Striker can typically break a lot of things, just not Eradicator. But most boards that your opponent puts up, you can either break or stop from happening at all. So like you could play a version without hand traps, like Joe Bogley's list that played like 2 Pankratops and just every way to get into Mystic Mine. You could play some variation with like some hand traps, like what I'm doing. You can like cram in a lot of hand traps. You can play the Demise list, which as far as I'm concerned can also blind second, although I generally think that build wants to go first and set up like, you know, just normal summon Ray, tag on their turn, set like Solemn Judgment, Floodgates pass. But there were historically like Joshua Smith's, for example, blind second Demise Striker list, which I mean that was different because we had 3 in the metaverse. But anyways, I'm getting a bit off topic here. So we're blinding second with just some hand traps, but ways into Mystic Mine, and like I'm playing There Can Be Only One, and just a bunch of board breakers. So yeah, my opponent's playing Orcust, like I said, but it's like Orcust with some other stuff in it. So he goes normal summon Mathematician. I don't feel the need to Ash this, mostly because I don't know what he's playing. So I'm just like, I want to see a little bit more about what he's doing before I like Ash it or do anything. So he sends the O-Line. I'm like, okay, this is probably Orcust, because some people like to do this, where they send O-Lion and then do Orcust plays from there. Typically you'll see people with Mathematician sending like Harp Horror and stuff, but this is like an alternate line. I thought at this point he had Orcust cards in his hand. The only one he has is the Symbol Skeleton, but I was thinking that maybe he had the Orcust Nightmare or a Harp already. So like I was thinking, alright, my Ash is probably not going to be in his Mermaid, it's probably going to be in the Harp. So that was actually just my thought process at this time. So he gets his token, he activates his Babel, and he sets his Fog Blade, and then he goes for the Nessie. So I'm like, alright, I'll just play the danger game. I'm on the receiving end of it this time. I snipe the Nessie, so he goes for a Snake. Interesting, he goes for a Snake instead of Jackalope earlier, but you know, his choices. I personally think that like Jackalope has high value because you can just decide what you want, you know. But it turns out I believe he just draws into it anyway. Yeah, so I mean, there you go. His symbol is in graveyard now, and I have knowledge I don't have knowledge of his hand, but I just know that the likelihood of it being Orcust Harp or Nightmare is pretty low. And I don't really know what his back row is. I just assume it's maybe a hard drawn crescendo or something, but I didn't know he was still playing Phantom Knight cards at that time, obviously. So here he uses the token and the Mathematician to go into Cherubini. So he's going to send a Carbonetum, which is coincidentally level 3, starting itself, and then Carbonet on. So at this point, I'm thinking he's going to summon, obviously, a dragon. That's what it does. But he's going to go into Guard Dragon combos. Like, he's going to go Dragon, and then he's going to like go Triple Burst, or LP, and then Triple Burst, and then do that. And I'm like, okay, I'll just Ogre the LP, and then if he has another Extender after, like, he clears his or like he summons something in addition to the Triple Burst, then I can like negate the Mermaid. So I'm like, alright, he's going for Galaxy Serpent. But I didn't see the Ib coming here, so I'm like, oh, alright, so the Snake here I guess was pretty good for the Ib combo if he was intending on doing this the whole time, which I'm sure he was. Granted, he could have just used any of his other monsters as well, since everything was level 3, but it didn't really matter. So yeah, he's gonna go search for Succession instead of the World Legacy Guard Dragon, which, in my mind, I don't automatically assume that means that he has the World Legacy Guard Dragon in his hand already, but he could. Like, that's a possibility running through my mind. So at this point, I'm just like holding my hand traps until it's like a really, really big choke point. Like, I could have stopped this, but he still would have had an Orcust play available to him, and I didn't want that. And I knew he was on Orcust for sure, because obviously he's playing the Babel. If he wanted to try and hide it, he could have, I guess, set this, but I figured he was on Orcust, and I mean, we already knew as well because of the symbol of Grave, right? So, yeah. I'm kind of explaining a lot of really small details, but that's kind of like what runs through my mind before I like decide to drop a hand trap. So I try and account for everything that I see and take in as much information as possible. So that's what I would recommend to you guys if you're playing like a control deck or just any deck that relies on specific point disruptions. Maybe a trap deck like Altergeist, or maybe, again, if you're just running hand traps in general, would recommend trying to account for as much as you can. So here I'm thinking, oh, interesting, he doesn't have an extender. I wonder what he's going for. So he's just going to go into his Orcust play pretty soon enough here with his Phoenix. And at this point I'm like, how is he going to go for his Guard Dragon combo? Because it doesn't really have zones. I thought he might have like dropped the Succession for, say, maybe the Galaxy Serpent, go into LP, go into Triple Burst, and then maybe summon like the World Chalice Guard Dragon. But he actually summons World Chalice, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty interesting. This does actually have an effect on the field to destroy, or to send extra deck cards to the graveyard by tributing itself if monsters are special summoned. So that's something that I feel some people might forget. It also can search in future turns for World Legacy cards if it is in the graveyard, except the turn it's sent. So follow-up plays there. He goes for Mermaid, and I'm like, alright, so now I know he doesn't really have a great avenue into the Guard Dragon combos. If he does, I still have the Ogre for it, but here's the prime time to Ash, and because he pitched the Jackalope, now I know his hand is Succession. So I feel very comfortable in ashing this. He goes for Jackalope to summon another copy of Tsuchinoko. And then I believe he successions back out the Ib, which, yeah, he does right here, and that is a level 5 Synchro Tuner. So at this point I'm thinking, alright, he probably is going to make Borrowed Savage because this is a tuner and this is a non-tuner. And what do you know? He actually does. So he declares, use its effect, I Ghost Ogre it. And now I'm pretty sure like he's not really left with much. Like, he hasn't really activated this card, and even if he did, and it was like an extender, I don't really see how he could have done a Guard Dragon play. Things might have been different if it was like a World Legacy Guard Dragon that he had set, and then like tried to move zones with like a generic Link 2 that pointed like downwards, left and right. The standard stuff that you do with LP and like a Lambda or a B Cop or whatever, just by themselves. But anyways, that was a lot of me talking through just me hand trapping him twice. So let's go ahead and draw for a turn. We draw Foolish Goods, which is not that bad. I just have to find something off this area 0, mostly just a way into Ray. You could argue that what I do here is a little bit risky. I send the Metal Force Fusion instead of an Engage. You could argue that's a bit risky, but at the same time I just need a way into Rave regardless, so I think it was fine, and this gives me another shot at it. In the chance that I like pick up an Engage off of this Area 0, that means I can just straight up activate it for a +1, and in the chance that, you know, I don't see a Ray anyway, then jumping Engage would have meant nothing, so I actually think this was a fine play. But yeah, I just needed a way into Ray regardless, so... And what do you know, but we find a multi-roll, so that's a way into Ray right there. You know, putting multi-roll to 1, but we see it anyway off the top, so, you know, hashtag must be nice. But yeah, go ahead, activate the multi-roll, send Area 0, special summon the Ray. He says he's thinking when I attack the World Chalice, and his only interaction is Fog Blade, so I'm thinking maybe he's like trying to force me to tag out so he can use the World Chalice, but Ray can still activate Engrave, so I mean, that's not the end of the world. Although it would have delayed my Engage for sure. But at this point, like, I've kind of drawn him out of resources. So he just lets this happen. Attack into the Mermaid for 500. And then I send the Engage. So I go to main phase 2. He's going to Fog Blade my Kagari, obviously, because he opted not to do it prior. That's fine. We go and use Diffusion for an extra draw. And at this point, I wanted to do the end phase Shizuku to search Shark Cannon to set it with multi-roll by like banishing something. But I already have a Shark Cannon engraved, so I can't do that. And not comfortable with just the one Widow Anchor, and I mean, I should feel comfortable with Widow Anchor Ash because he has literally just one card, and I know the rest of his grave. But I just want to be extra safe, so I do the Shizuku play with multi-roll anyway with the Widow Anchor instead, and then that's where our turn is. He draws a Takatomborg. Actually, for the first time seeing what he drew, I didn't go over this replay. So yeah, I guess he's playing a Speedwear package as well with Terratop. I guess it makes sense if he's trying to turbo out Cherubini. So that's pretty good there. I debate on end phase negating my own Shizuku to like set the Engage, but just decide it's not worth it. I'm pretty far ahead anyway, and then I could just make another Shizuku and search Hercules base so that I can, you know, recycle my resources. So I just attack. Maybe I could have gone to Hayate to send more cards that would have been dead, but didn't feel the need to do so. It was fine. I just go Kaina and then go Shizuku so I can get another search. That's totally fine. Oh yeah, you might be wondering why I'm playing Sky Striker at all. I totally, like, that totally just went over my head. Why I'm playing Sky Striker to begin with is I just want a bit of a change in pace in this series. I don't want to just be playing the same deck every single time. And I think it's important to be able to play the other decks in the format if you want a good understanding of the format, because, you know, if I'm playing from the perspective of the same deck, even if it is the deck that I plan on taking to events, it's not quite like knowing from a pilot's perspective what to stop, right? So like I know what I can gain information from, you know, other players and just doing my own research about how to stop like other decks, but, you know, playing it yourself is kind of a different way to view it, even though people play decks differently, of course. But it is another alternative way to gain a knowledge. So, and again, DuelingBook is a good platform to just kind of like, you know, test limits. It's very, very much not consequential. It's DuelingBook. It's fine. So anyways, yeah, I started Hercules base in the end phase like I said I would, and we just pass. And he draws Machina Fortress. Interesting. I did not know he was playing this card. But I think he scoops it up here. Yeah. So I'm like way too far ahead in cards, so that's fine. Here I'm not sure if he's going to stick to his guns and go first or make me go first, because when I won the rock, paper, scissors thing, I decided to go second. So he's like, alright, I'll make him go first. So like that was running through my head, but at the same time I'm like, well, you know, combo decks, they want a combo anyway. So I decided to keep in some going first cards, like there could be only one, but I also kept in, or put in Nibiru in place of like MST. So You'll see the deck list at the end as well that I use. It's kind of just me taking a mishmash of different topping lists. So this hand's insane for going first. I'm very thankful I didn't draw any of my, you know, purely go second cards. Although Nibiru is fine in this deck, even if it's, you know, going first, because you can easily recover and you don't mind tributing your own board. Yeah, this hand's insane. It's instant 3 spells with Foolish Goods and Upstart for engage, so he has no hand traps. We can just kind of go wild. Engage kind of draws us a little bit of a dead card, but or not engage, Upstart. But I mean, who really cares? Because we're gonna resolve engage like a bunch of times. All right, so I go for multi-roll because like I don't really just want to summon Ray, because like I want to get more value. And I have the Area 0 anyway, so I just want to get as many cards as I can, because like Area 0 can get me another card, multi-roll can get me more cards in the end phase, and I can just get a lot of cards this way. I can draw There Can Be Only One off of the engage. That's pretty nice. Drawing your non-engine cards. I set the Afterburner, and I target it with Area 0. He sees that I have Nibiru, so you know, maybe putting in a little bit of fear into the heart and soul of men. No, I'm kidding. I take the Jamming Wave because, you know, it's the only one I pulled, and, you know, these cards are equally not great going first, but it's fine. I decided to keep them in anyway. It's fine. I targeted Area with the multi-roll to get Ray on board, and then go into Kagari to get back the engage. At this point, you know, it's not always the greatest idea to use Kagari turn 1, because, again, obviously you only have one, but I just wanted to run away with this game and just get as many cards as I can while I'm ahead. You know, if he sides in evenly and stuff, that's fine, because I have a lot of, you know, I have a lot of backup anyway, so it's okay. Alright, so I draw a Rhoda off the second engage that I used to search Widow Anchor. Not the best, but it means I have a guaranteed play if, you know, I do get evenly matched or whatever. That's fine. And then I fusion draw into an engage. This deck is, you know, always does its thing. Yeah, it does its thing. So I have a double There Can Be Only One. So that's pretty nice. I actually don't really have too many spaces to do things that I want to do. So I just set my Shark Cannon, set the Widow Anchor, set There Can Be Only One, and then I add another Widow Anchor and then set it off the multi-roll. I probably should have set, I could have set Area 0 if I wanted to. I just didn't do it. He rips Twin Twister for turn, which I actually did know that was ripped for turn. That's pretty good. He actually just shotguns it, and he targets my Widow Anchor that he knows is set, and he targets my Shark Cannon, so just gonna chain it obviously. And Widow Anchor gets banished. I could have used it on my own Shizuku just to, you know, give multi-roll some more fodder for the end phase, but decided not to do that. Because Shizuku's actually lowering his guys by a healthy amount, and I already activated the Shark Cannon, so I'm pretty locked and loaded if I use this other Widow Anchor anyway, so I don't feel too pressured by it. He pitches the Orcust Nightmare off of the Dark Grepher, so I'm like, alright, I'm not going to negate that, that's fine. He sends the Harp Horror, and he'll banish Harp Horror to summon the Symbol Skeleton. At this point, I'm like, alright, if he goes Galatea, he can actually kind of amass some resources, so let's just flip There Can Be Only One right here. Stop him from going to Galatea. He has to try and out it by some other means before doing anything, and that means it's probably Phoenix, and I can just negate it with Widow Anchor, and we'll be fine. That's my thinking here. And I believe he actually does exactly that. He spends a while thinking, and yeah, he goes Phoenix, pitch Gizmek. I'm like, oh, he's playing Gizmek too. He's playing a lot of engines in here. Targets There Can Be Only One. I'm gonna steal it with the Widow Anchor, and his only play really left is the Gizmek. I didn't know what his last card in his hand at the time was, obviously, but with it being called by the grave, it's not really too threatening. To me, at least. So yeah, his Gizmek comes out. It is losing a fair bit of attack. It's losing 900, but he's going to use Orcust Nightmare to pump it. So that's alright. he sends another Gizmek to pump it by 800. So I say that's fine because now his Gizmek's stronger enough to beat over Shizuku. He actually called by the Graves my raid, which is a little unfortunate, but obviously I follow ups, so not too perturbed by that one. And then he passes, so I'm like, alright, I can actually kind of get rid of a lot of his board here. His Gizmeks will be annoying to block, but I have pretty good control over this game. So I go ahead and use multi-roll to set my good cards. I draw a Nibiru as well. So I'm like, alright, well that's a little bit late, but that's fine. Okay, so I can end with probably like another Widow and Shark Cannon if I wanted to. So, you know, that's totally fine. Draw a second Nibiru off the engage. But yeah, he decides to just scoop here. He's like, yeah, that's enough. And he actually, I don't know if he's siding this Cyber Dragon, but I guess maybe it could be for this matchup to contact and then go Orcust plays. Pretty interesting stuff. But yeah, this basically just showcases the power of Striker and why this deck really needs actually big hits in order to realistically kill this deck. I'm sure a lot of people are tired of it, but it's still tier 1. It's still like solidly tier 1. But yeah, let's go ahead and go into the deck list and the end screen, I guess. Okay, so this is the list that I used. It was a little bit thrown together, admittedly, so I don't think it's necessarily ideal. What I did basically was I took Joe Bugley's list and I kind of, you know, tweaked it around a little bit. So he was maining 2 Pankratops. He mained a 1 Paw of Desires, 1 Metaverse, and 1 of something, or he mained a 3rd Shark Cannon. So yeah, so I replaced those 5 cards for 3 Ash 2 Ogre, and just called it a day. I don't know, I just wanted to do it. I sided the Pankratops instead. I sided the World Dino Wrestling Field Spell just because I like that card a lot, no other reason. It's a target to send off Foolish Goods and then you can summon Pankratops. So it is actually just like playing more copies of Pankratops, which is, you know, pretty nice if you want the option for it. This card is really good. There can be only one. It's good in this deck. Subtle Limit is also okay, but I think this card is just pretty powerful. It's actually like 11 to 12 bucks right now as a super rare because it only had 1 printing and it's pretty powerful. Yeah, only 2 area. I feel like, I don't know, I always want to play 3. I saw both those games, but like, I don't know, the idea is like you want to see Mystic Mind more going second, but I don't know. Like this card, it can be bricky, but it also contributes to consistency as well on its own, so it's like a very awkward card to have. Especially now that multi-rolls at 1, it's like not a reliable play anymore to get your stuff started, but you do what you gotta do. And like that is one of the appeals to playing MST over Cosmic in this deck, because you can just pop your own field spell. But you know, if you're only playing 2, then I guess that value is sort of not, you know, it's not optimized. Yeah, extra deck is probably as standard as it gets for a non-Utopia double list. I don't know, I just don't really like Utopia double. I want like as many cards to just be live as possible. So, and this deck already is playing some cards that are not great to draw. So I just want to be sure that I can always, you know, get there. And I think Borosaur is really easy to make. You know, Shark Cannon, Widow Anchor, they can all get there. Most decks are playing like 2s that you can just take, so it's fine. The side deck was definitely just thrown together. I don't think this is necessarily even a good side deck. I realized after playing, like, wow, this deck doesn't have Twin Twister anywhere. Some people opt not to play Twin Twister actually, but yeah, it's not in here. I do think Mind Control is really good though, and I just wanted to slap the promos in just because it is very possible we see a world where these promos fall out of favor. But I think with Nibiru specifically, like if this gets less popular, then combo decks will rise again, and then this will, you know, come back to stop them, and then combo decks will drop off again, which makes this worse, so people will stop playing it, and I think it will just be kind of a push and pull, like for a long time, as long as this card is relevant. Shared Ride is there for like the mirror and stuff. And yeah, I don't think anything else is really too special. It's just Sky Striker, man. Like this deck has been around for well over a year now, so I don't know. This is just how Sky Striker looks, and you know, there are some small variations to more seasoned striker players, I'm sure, but yeah, this is I think a reasonable template to go off of. So yeah, we are now at I think 252 rating after this episode. I actually not pre-recorded, but played some more games. So should have more episodes out later on time, hopefully. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you would like to leave constructive criticism or feedback in the comment section down below as far as how I can improve this series or just my videos in general, feel free to do that, or just leave your thoughts in general in the comment section. Do feel free to hit that subscribe button if you would like to see more styles of videos similar to this one. And yeah, once again, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next video. See you guys.